Hi, I'm John Waterhouse, and this is Weekday Wisdom. Thank you for joining me today. My question for you today is, what do you choose? What do you choose? Now, that could mean a lot of things, but what I'm referring to is that in every situation of life, we are required to make choices. Our choices determine the direction and the outcomes of our lives. We're constantly making choices. With every circumstance that we face, we make a choice, and it makes a difference what we choose. So to explain, I want to share a story about a guy named John. This is not about me. It's not my story. It's a story that I heard many years ago. And I do like the guy's name, so it makes it easier to tell the story. So here we go. For several years, I worked in the communications tower construction and maintenance industry. I had a coworker named John, who was the kind of guy that could annoy the hell out of you. He was always in a good mood and always had something positive to say. When someone would ask him, "How are you doing?" he would reply, "If I were any better, I'd be twins." He was a natural motivator. When a coworker was having a bad day, John would tell that person to look on the bright side of the situation. After observing his style for years, I had become incredibly curious, so I one day asked him, "I don't get it. I can't be a positive person like you. How do you do it?" He replied, "Every morning when I wake up, I say to myself, I have two choices. Today I can choose to see the best in life, or I can choose to see the worst. And every day I choose to see the best and to be in a good mood. Each time something happens that I don't like, I can choose to be a victim, or I can choose to learn from that situation. My choice is to learn. Every time someone comes to me complaining, I can choose to agree with their complaints, or I can point out that what happened is really okay, and there's something good in it. I've trained myself to choose the side of life where everything is okay." I said, "Yeah, right. It's not that easy." "Yes, it is," he said. "Life is all about choices. When you cut away all the junk, every situation is a choice. You choose how to react to situations, and you choose how people affect your mood. You choose to feel great, or you choose to feel lousy. The bottom line is, it's your choice how you live your life." I took these thoughts from John and pondered them for a while. And soon after, I left that company to start my own business. John and I lost touch, but I often thought about him when I made choices in my life that helped me live a life that was easier and more enjoyable. Several years later, I heard that John had been involved in a serious accident. He had fallen some 60 feet off a communication tower. After 18 hours of surgeries with rods placed on both sides of his spine, weeks in intensive care, and months of physical therapy, John was released to live his life. I saw him about 6 months after the accident. When I asked him how he was, he replied, "If I were any better, I'd be twins. Want to see my scars?" I declined, but I did ask him what had gone through his mind when the accident took place. He answered, "The first thing that went through my mind was the well-being of my soon-to-be-born daughter. Then as I lay on the ground, I remembered that I had two choices. I could choose to live, or I could choose to die. So I chose to live." "Were you scared? Did you lose consciousness?" I asked. He continued, "The paramedics were great. They kept telling me I was going to be fine. But when I was wheeled into the ER and I saw the expressions on the faces of the doctors and nurses, I got really scared. In their eyes, I saw, he's a dead man. I needed to take some action." "So what did you do?" I asked. "Well, there was this big burly nurse shouting questions at me. She asked me if I was allergic to anything. I said, yes." The doctors and nurses all stopped working as they were waiting for my reply. I took a deep breath and yelled, "Gravity!" Over their laughter, I told them, "I'm choosing to live, work on my body as if I'm alive, not dead." John lived thanks to the excellent support he received in that hospital, but also because of his amazing attitude. I learned from him that every day we have a choice to live fully or to do something else. I'm choosing to live fully. Attitude, after all, is everything. And with that story, I'm encouraging you to have a full, rich, delightful day. Thank you, and I'll talk to you again.